Leave it there for this part of the underslung exhaust. We'll come back now, and because I'll be looking for something to do now that the 35 is gone. There's something standing out there that could be done. I probably mentioned it already. So in part 2, Tommy can third face in. We're going to have a go at getting that bit done. And yeah, you probably guessed by now, I don't like to be too idle in the evenings. I like to get the hands dirty. So we'll go and do that in the second part, and we may as well have it looking right, because I'm not 100% certain on the sound yet. So regardless, it's nice having the option of an underslung exhaust and the vertical, just like the gold belly there. We do have our old Burgess silencer, and we have the U-bend for that, so we fitted that before. We'll have a video of that up as well, where we brought for a spin up the bog road, and I brought it for a long spin with that exhaust just before I brought this to the agricultural show. It was about a good 12-mile round trip. So yeah, we just wanted to hear what the engine sounded like on a long trip, and it was easier with the vertical exhaust. Of course, you can hear what's happening a bit easier than having it underneath you. So yeah, that's cool. So we'll go and do that then in the second part, and it'll involve stripping it down again, and tidying up a few bits, refitting, and then just making sure that the brackets are all A1. I'm not 100% happy with this type of a bracket because it's not very strong. Up and down, we'll say, with the way that's coming out, I would prefer the end of that to be straight, that's bolted onto the trumpet housing, like the gold belly over here, because it's stronger. It's a lot stronger. It's a better setup, I think. That is going to be stronger, like that, because you have to physically push the exhaust down to get it over the stud, and it keeps a bit of pressure and tension on it. It keeps it nice and steady. Whereas with this, that metal just isn't thick enough or hard enough or strong enough to stop up and down movement. So if you go over a bumpy road, you'd imagine it's going to be tapping up and down against this foot plate. But I had to go turning that around, and there's not enough space, as you can see, in there for that to be attached any other way. So we're just going to leave it as it is, test it, and if it stays nice and steady, well then we're happy enough. I don't think it's going to be putting too much pressure on this joint here. That's real strong. Don't think it is. If we want, we can fit another one of them in under here, like the later 35s apparently I think had another bracket in under there, and it just helped keep things steady. I think the heat shield was just a kind of a flat plate underneath the foot plate with a bit of an asbestos sheet between it and the foot plate, and that was your heat shield. Whereas this is meant to have a kind of a semicircle kind of a shield coming out, and I will get that for it as well. I found one place on the internet that'll sell them. The postage to Ireland is a bit of a disaster now, but we'll say nothing about that, but it can be got. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Sound, as I said, not 100% certain. We'll get it up to temperature, we'll bring it for a spin, give it a few good hard revs, see what sort of noise is coming out of it. It's not going to be practical when I'm doing my stone wall and in the drier weather in the spring, because I like to have this ticking over or revved a bit to charge the battery for a while as I'm working, and I'm standing here getting polluted. So regardless, we will take it as it comes. So that's going to be part 2. So we'll catch you then. Okay, so tá an 35 in mithe. Sé in mithe bhaile chuig an únair. The 35 is gone back to the owner. I put up a video of that. Just I think I named it Finished. Really nice tractor. It's after getting the deluxe extravaganza package in here. It's after getting the works, everything we could do on it, we did on it. The engine was done there, and it came to us, and yeah, so we can move up to 20 diesel now. This is more my storage area, so slightly better lights here and closer to the workbench. So we'll bring her up and we'll whip off that down pipe and take all the parts off, the silencer and all of that, and we'll give it a sanding. I was having a look through my paints there, so we got some rust primer here, good stuff, that goes off quick to find, and we've got black here. Yeah, I know you're probably saying these are meant to be painted silver, but I'm not going to be bothered taking off the exhaust manifold and doing that at this point. And the way I look at it is, what's another coat of paint on the likes of them exhausts? Kind of needed, especially on the downpipe. Plenty of paint, because it gets hot, muck and shit kind of comes up on it, it gets wet, and it starts eating into the paint. So I don't mind down the road having to, if I'm looking for something to do sometime, take off the manifold and spray paint it silver along the downpipe to match the silencer. So we'll move her up. I noticed yesterday there when we were just testing out the sound of the exhaust, it does sound a little bit petrol-y, to be honest with you, when it starts cold and all of that, but I do think it's solar petrol engine. Don't think they meant them for the diesels. Probably not worth their while, but look off the box. Okay, so it's not too cold out, but I don't really give this heat anyway. Okay, so that's that. A little bit closer. Throw over a rubber mat just to save the knees. I got these in Lidl or Aldi or one of the days. Fits perfect between the two wheels on your 20 and on your 35 and on 135 and all of that when you connect them. I just find them handy now. Right, up with our trolley bug. It is strange not having the exhaust there alright in the way. Up with that, off with that, and yeah. Right, so I'll just get a few more tools and we'll crack into it. So the same thing as yesterday evening's video. Whip off this intake cleaner pipe. Just because it has a bracket on the end of it and that goes to the manifold. Swap for your 9/16. Actually, now that we're here, and since I'm going to paint this, I'm going to treat it to something. I'll show you what I'm going to do there, because I picked up a few of them there one of the days. So I'll grab that and show you. It's the two new Deluxe Extravaganza nuts. So yeah, you probably noticed before that when I'm looking for nuts and bolts and all of that, I'll often produce something like this, and it's got me out of many holes, I can tell you. You're working on, especially when you're working on someone else's tractor and there's been a bit of a bodge job, or someone has tried fitting on metric nuts over something that's not meant to be metric. You get out your taps and your dies and you retread or whatever you have to do, and you consult your trade there, and usually get something that will suit. Okay, so nice new gasket on that as well. And the beauty of the diesel engines is the gaskets there on that underslung or on the vertical, you don't have to go tighten them too much to get them to seal, so they're usually very much reusable. So that is that off this. Okay, while we're at it, because I can feel this is a little bit loose, I remember working on this and fitting this brass slab there. Let's give him a little nip. I think he's 9/16. Don't know what they meant to be brass, but we sure are a fan of brass here in this place. So it's one of them strange sizes where it's not a 1/2 inch and it's not 9/16, so it must be a 13. So we'll grab a 13 mil. Unless it's just worn, I don't know. Yeah, that's nipping her there a bit. Lovely. Mind you, I don't know what it's doing inside. It could be turning. Because I was fairly sure this thing was rattling like feck. On certain revs, you want to hear the rattles of the building at one point. Give it a nip there anyway, see if we can. I know it's meant to be captive inside if I'm not mistaken. So, don't know if that actually tightening at all. Tell you what, we'll do, we'll horse it into the vise here. Because this might just sort that issue, because there was an awful sharp, loud, fast rattle that would go through your ears. Certain revs, so it's probably, I think I've worked it out that it's around that area there, so may as well. Last thing we want is that nice brass nut falling off. This is an original pipe as well, and an original end, stamped 627. Get a hout of it in there. I must get some soft jaws for this vise. Right, and we'll just give it a little play around it and see. As I said, these are meant to be captive, because I remember working on one of them on the last 20 of these we had in there. So 13 isn't happy, and when I look down into it, it is, the inside of it was kind of captive. So 14 is a bit loose. I hate using spanners that are too big, so I'm going to try a 1/4 inch whitworth and see if that's any better. I might have a job trying to find it exactly now. I know I have one here somewhere. We'll give it a go and see. 1/2 inch. What's that going to do? Some of these, yeah, so that's nearly it there. Jesus, it's not either. It's a square size, that, eh? It'll nearly go on one side there, I think. Right, we'll have to do a little more investigation work. Some of these are just... So I'll go and grab... Oh, here we are. Actually, find that this is actually one that you end up needing for some starters and stuff like that. It's strange, because Lucas, being British, you'd imagine they'd have stuck to the Imperial. And there we go. She chounked an ish. It's tightened there now, and it's gone loose again. Isn't that good? What's going on to hell? Yeah, the captive, there's something captive in there, alright. Yeah. I think. Oh, now I see what's happening here. Sure, all I'm doing is tightening it up against the back of this. Okay, so look. All I was doing was tightening it up against that lad, but the actual thing in there is a little bit loose. And that's causing our issue. Okay, so there's feck all I can do with that now, I'd say. But we tried. It did obviously fit my rubber lad on there. Spin here. Replace that rubber lad anyway, because he's gone a little bit worse for wear. Do we have to? He's actually fine, isn't he? So I'll show you what was going on there. So that's what was going on. This lad here was loose in there. Okay, that explains it. So that was just either wrung off. It's a square head. Okay. Okay. Right. So she was wrung off. Thinking here now. Could we replace it with something else? Could we replace that with something else? Like the likes of a bolt that we could tighten it up properly. Maybe so. Maybe this is the time to sort this rattle out, because I'm it's the only thing you can fucking hear sometimes. This sharp metallic rattle. So if we take the mushroom end off that, take the mushroom end off, because I did have it off before. We're going to need a better screwdriver than that, I'd say. Take off the clamp, we'll try anyway, and tap him off and see what we can do inside. This is a nice original style one. I think it's more than original style, I think it is an original one. It's like all of them though, they usually, the slots in them are bad. So that's loose there. Try and grab him and get it past the camera. Okay. Could be a little bit harder to do than we think. That rattling there now is what I was hearing. That is exactly now, so I've worked it out. I only thought it might have been from here. But that is something like it, alright. Don't want to go making shit of that, of course. That is loose. Definitely fitted it myself, because I remember it being in 2 parts. That is about 5 years ago. How about we have a look inside there? See, it's anything loose-ish. If I get it off, I can put a bolt through it, try and get that brass lad on it then. That'll look well. I don't want to go making shit of it. Yes, you can buy new ones, but like the fact it's original, I prefer to keep it. That's definitely not. I don't want to go bending that fucking thing either underneath there. Alright, I think we're moving there. End of the day, extra I'm spray painting. I can hit this again if I have to. It's moving, but it seems to be kind of going from one side to the other. It's coming off. fair good grip of it anyway, whatever the hell's going on. Yeah. Yeah. It's not the great angle either. I might try and let gravity help us here, I think. So make sure I'm not bending that bracket too much. Okay, there we go. Whew. Okay. Jesus Christ. So can we see anything in there that's rattling? Yeah, because when I hit that, I can feel something kind of vibrating in there. Yeah, something's actually kind of nearly like a metallic ringing over it. Okay, so that's inside there, and that's no bother at all. But what I want to do, make sure to see one of them flappy things in there isn't rattling against something. Yeah, I think I see what's going on now. Okay, interesting how they got that in there now. A bit of making in that to actually put that little lad in there, and I suppose they had to kind of crimp it over there then. Interesting. Or this part was separate maybe, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so I see where the gap is there, in there. Might have to just do a little bit of bending. See, that sort of bending there, easy, right? So I have a feeling that's rattling off the side. So that's sort of stopping, I think, vibrating a bit there. Let's have a feel here and see if we can get rid of that. It was just one of them things, you were like, what the hell is that? Yeah. So it stops now. So when I did that before, you could feel something going inside in there. So we have to bend it a little bit there out of the way. It's not going to go making any fucking difference to it. It's not as if we're running it in the Sahara Desert, like, where there's dusty conditions. We're in damp Connemara, lads. Should be the solid finish. Okay, I'm happy with that. Lovely, so while we are here, I might just replace that Jubilee clip with a newer one, but the original style. Clean as well. Make it easy, just in case we have to return and do it again. Yeah, we did a blowout compressor later on. Oh. Right, so whip this lad off and see if we've one. There's a few newer ones there. I may as well see if we can improve it. I'll bring over the Jubilees and we'll look. I do have a selection of these Jubilees here. You can see that any of these fit, but look, the nicer one. If they do, we'll replace them and replace the ones on the pipe as well. These are a nicer setup, all right. Yeah, wouldn't that be nicer? If you had a fucking bolt going through, it'd even be nicer again. must be in there somewhere. So anyway, there's probably a few more there that'll do the trick. He's smaller. Oh my luck, that was the only fucking one that would suit, and I'm after fucking going and losing the bolt out of it. Sure, we can reuse that one, but let's see about that height there. Will we get one that would look a bit better? It is a job I want to do. At some point, is change them all to the original style. That bolt is gone in there somewhere, in that box somewhere, I'd say. Fell out of that. That was the one, I'd say, that might have done the trick. Anyway, we can use that one, but will we get one for the height out of it, I wonder? We need a lot bigger. That one would do it, but it's not exactly what you call an improvement. So it needs to be cleaned up, probably shot blasted and painted, because if you shot blasted, you remove the coating on it, then it's rushed. So look, that's okay. We tried our best and we failed. So what we're going to do, we're going to put in a bolt in there and try and see if we can get one to fit brass nut. Okay, so I'll have a look and come back. Okay, so very luckily, looking through my bolts, I found this little bolt here, and it's got a flat head in the end, which is ideal for holding it with a screwdriver. It's UNF, fine thread, and the, what should we call it, the brass nut fits on it as well, so that is all good news. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to rubber mount this both sides. So I've got a rubber washer here, taken off. I'm going to get another one on the inside. That'll stop the vibrations going through it, hopefully, and stop that rattling as well. But I have a feeling I've sorted that because of those bits that were tight. So I'm just going to get a washer for that, and then we'll see does it sorted. Go for this style of a rubber lad here, because it should actually poke out through there and completely stop all vibrations, you'd imagine. You're probably thinking I'm going a bit over the top, but you want to hear that thing rattling. Now, so something like that, and then that should poke out through there. So what we'll do is we'll fire the long extension in the vise, we'll put it on the bolt. Hopefully that is going to be enough. Lift it up a bit. See what side we need to be. Just do a little bit of bending just to get it down into it there. Okay, it's not going in the whole way. It's a little bit crooked, so that's not ideal. Exactly, anyway. I don't want to put pulling that out now with the pliers too much, like it was how I divide it. It's very tight in there. Could be a little bit awkward getting it in there otherwise, I think. Unless we allow gravity to help us, maybe it stays in there. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. We could have a bit of fun getting that in there. So what I'll do is I'm going to come back when I have that in and we'll take it from there. Okay, and how I sorted that was I went in with a 1/4 inch and it was just a bit thinner, and I got the rubber washer on the end of it. That kind of treads up on it, and that's holding things steady for now anyway. So now I cut it obviously, so we just have enough then just to get our, hopefully have enough there for the washer, and enough just to bite, and it'll pull it through the last bit. I'm hoping. I'll have to put my screwdriver down in there. See bit hard to see. I should have put over the hat that you can put the light on. A longer screwdriver down there. God above. Little bit awkward, no? Okay. Just a matter of getting a few turns on it, that's all. Lovely. That's her. And this nut is, the threads are a lot better than what was on. That was on the oak that was in it, whatever you want to call it. I have a feeling untightening it years ago probably broke off the end of it in there. So this is tightening from the inside now. That's the beauty of having that. Being lucky to have found one with a slot in the end of it. We're getting a nice tighten on him there now. He's solid, and I think we might just have sorted that issue. It's not doing that ding like it used to. By God, I can tell you it was that thing rattling, and it was that little crossed to a different side that was rattling. So we're doing one job, but we're sorting another. You know yourself, when you go to the bother and get to do so much work on the yoke, you don't want to be listening to things like that. When you're going down the road, you want to be able to listen to an engine and stuff. So look, it's one of them things now we're getting sorted. So that goes that way there, so that will go that way there. I might slot, I'm just going to go and slot him with the hacksaw a little bit better. He's a little bit worn. Right, so we'll do that over in the other vise here. This is something that all these need, if you ask me. It only takes a second. Yeah, that should get a better grip on it there now, I'd say. Right, where are we going? Back here. Okay. Back on you go. So roughly, that's going on a bit easier there now already. That's grand. Okay. We'll try it with my favourite flathead. We all have a favourite screwdriver. This is mine. Oh, yeah, it's getting a bit better of a bite on it there now, compared to slipping all over the place. Lovely. A1. Or have we sorted it at all? That was the sound I used to hear multiplied by about 10 when I was driving it. Okay. We didn't sort it. We'll whip it off again and see why it's doing that. Yeah. So it definitely is that little fecker inside there now. Just a little bit of clearance in it, and it's enough just to rattle against the side of it when it's revved. think that's it there. It just needs to be bent a bit out from the side of it. I thought it was the bonnet, I thought it was the radiator cowling. I mounted all the radiator cowling with rubber, and I put rubber in behind the bloody self-tapping screws. And maybe that's it now. It's like them exhaust flaps, that 35X there. I put up a video of me just driving it out of here, and all you can hear is the exhaust flap rattling. And that tractor is kept in a lovely, smashing garage, like American style, double door. So it's never going to see rain anyway, like. It doesn't have a cab, you're not going to be driving it when it's raining. So chances of you actually destroying an engine through leaving the likes of a tractor like that out in the rain so much that the water runs down into the engine is fairly low. So I just don't like fitting them too noisy. Okay, and we have a lovely UNF nut from that that bolt. Like, these are a size of nut that you end up looking for regularly. One place I can think of that I know straight away I need them is on the gold belly here, on your distributor, sorry, on your coil in there. You need them in there on that because there's only studs, so they're UNF, so very, very hard to come by these anywhere else on the engine. So again, wherever storage lads over here for them, we'll make sure to put him in there, because there was a bolt put in one side of that coil and it ended up leaking oil, and I had to find a stud, and the studs for them are really hard to get as well because they're not used anywhere else really. Okay, so where are we? We have to, that was a little side track. That was a side track. It's nothing to do with the exhaust, but it was driving me mad, so we sorted it, I think. So the next thing we can do, put these away. We can take out two new ones. They look kind of cool. They actually look like the brass as well. Strange that for replacement parts they bothered their arse making them out of brass. Let's see, does the magnet pick them up? If the magnet picks them up, then that's a fairly strong magnet there. No, it doesn't, so they are actually brass. That's interesting. I think they will look nice anyway. UNC coarse thread. Beautiful. They'll look well. Okay, so we need to take off the rear bracket. Rear bracket. So then the whole lot should just fall straight down. Keep you out of the way here because I'll be back here. Okay, so that's that. This will take a bit of seesawing to come off. I noticed that. Took a bit of seesawing to go on. Careful with the treads and the studs and all of that. Let's take our time. Come on, come off. Lovely, so that we can leave our gasket. Whatever I say or not. Now we can take this off and move you over now to the bench again. Okay. Rightio. Okay, so we take off this little bracket there that's going into the downpipe. So I had to consult my Christmas present for my brother last year there to get this longer quarter-inch. Serious piece of kit in fairness. Halford's expert. Basically every single thing you could imagine you need in there. Impacts, ratchets, socket, ratchet spanners, long reach, quarter-inch, 3/8, half drive, all of the hex drives. It's just too bloody heavy to have on the trolley there, but it's smashing just to have it there when you do need an extra extension or something. You need to put two of them on together. Right, what do we need? We need a 13 of some kind. Have something there. Yeah, for this I used a kind of a coach bolt. It just looks a bit neater and you're not looking at a bolt head, which is okay now, but down the road, if I have to take it off, the bastard will probably start spinning. But it's easy to put a hacksaw in there and cut it and fit something different, so we're not too bad. Or an angle grinder or whatever. Don't like using angle grinders, because I was in hospital a few times getting metal removed from my eye because of angle grinders. So I'll be a bit old school when it comes to cutting. If I can cut with a hacksaw, I will. Okay, so that's that. Now put this in the vise. Pull off the silencer. Should just twist off, and we can start cleaning down that downpipe then and see about giving it a coat of rust primer. So keep all these parts together. Right, nice little brackets then. I use them for this style for the exhaust silencer as well on the vertical. I find they're a nicer look than the usual style, like them. What I find happens, the bottom of the silencer where it goes around with them ones is if it's enamel like the black one I had on the 20 diesel, it actually chips the paint and it actually flies off. So the wraparound ones are they're a lot nicer, and I think they give a better sealing as well. Yeah, I always try to keep a few in there. They're only €3 or €4 each. So cleaning this, I suppose, wouldn't sandpaper nearly do it, as opposed to going at it with a drill. I might give it a wire brush with a drill first, because there's some bits of chunky paint and stuff on it, and give it a final go then, sandpaper. We'll just do a quick little flattening on this flange here as well, just to give it the best chance possible of sealing. Got a bit of sandpaper there on a block, I think, somewhere. Yeah. The wife was wondering where this kind of cheese boardy thing went. I told her I haven't seen it in years. So that kind of a crack there. We'll do a proper job on that and see what shines up. And if it doesn't, it's not level. Right, so we'll whip out our drill. See how, again, this isn't going to have to be perfect. It's just to get the rust primer to stick to it. So for the likes of this, I like to use a very worn wire brush, because I find the long ones, the bristles just fly off everywhere. These, very harsh, and kind of ideal for the likes of that now. it'll help just clean it up a bit better. We can be harsh enough on it. It's not as if it's a body panel, and there is a bit of surface rust on it from sitting up. This of course was new at one point like Anton, but and painted, but it just didn't last. So I'm going to finish that. I'm going to get a face mask as well. It's dusty. I'll come back when that's done, and I might come back actually and I'm just giving it a rub of sandpaper maybe, and we'll show you how we get on. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. See if we can get it to polish up a little bit. Oh yeah, let's see what's going to happen there is, because she's sticking up a bit proud there, that's going to push into the gasket and it's going to seal. So this is the higher place, I like that, and then this is a bit lower, so when you tighten it, it will push this up into the gasket, and that's a metal gasket, so I'd be happy enough that it should seal. And again, it's not like a petrol engine, you know, my Triumph motorbike, the 1960s one I have. If you don't have your exhaust downpipes sealed, she'll pop out the exhaust. Yeah, so that's actually probably good enough. Because of where it is, where it's shining up. Yeah, so it's definitely high in the middle there. That's what we want it to be. This will actually make sure there's no burrs on it. Just from the very outside. We want this to be lower so that it pulls up the middle and gets it sealed. Very hard metal, in fairness, it's good quality metal. Make sure there's no burrs in it. Yeah. No, thought that was going to sound a lot different. And now I have a big black ring around the mouth. Sounds like a didgeridoo. Okay, so that's fairly good. So let's get a bit of sandpaper now and see if we can. This is the kind of metal now that you can actually hit with a drill and a wire brush until the cows come home, and it'll just keep throwing off bits of rust. So you just have to draw the line and let the rust primer take over. So just some 120 grit. That is all it's going to take. It's not stainless steel like. See the old rust primer that was on it. Yeah, it'll be fine. I kind of want it to be a little bit rough so that it helps that rust primer stick to it. Like, we don't have to go taking all that bit of rust primer on it. That's on it off. It'll all be fine. Let's have a quick look at it. See, is there anywhere that we could improve on slightly. So there we go, that's probably good enough. Rub down with a bit of white paper and thinners, if even. It's probably going to be perfect. It's actually a fairly well made little pipe, like the wells and stuff are fairly bloody good and strong. Yeah, okay. So we'll do a bit of tidying up, and I'm going to have a think about how I want to paint it. Do I want to fire up the spray gun? Do I want to fire up the spray gun, or just get out, do a good old fashioned brush? They're the two options really. I do have grey primer in cans, but I prefer to use the proper rust primer, especially on a part that's going to get hot and it's going to have muck and shit thrown up on it. It's not hard to take it off and tidy it up, repaint, I know, but I suppose the biggest question is, do we paint it by hand or do we bother spray paint it? Let it dry, turn it over, spray paint the other side, all of that. Won't be able to do it all in one go unless we hang it from something. We can hang it from the girder over there. That's the question. But anyway, I'll have a think about that and we'll come back when I'm ready to go. Mixed up the rust primer. I'm going to paint it by hand. I think I'll be able to, but it'll take less time to put more paint onto it. I think painting a spray gun will take too many coats. Start trying to rush by putting on plenty, then you'll only end up then of course with one marks, whereas this you'll be able to put plenty on. I think that's going to be the key here, to put plenty on in the first place, and it's actually going on lovely and smooth there anyway. I think even get that much on in the spray gun in one coat would take a lot of time. Like, I find this stuff is real good now, this Tractol paint. It's real easy to work with. It spreads well. If I'm being a little bit critical, it has plenty of thinners in it, so they did thin it down a bit, I'd say, to make it easier to use, and you might need another coat, so it's not as thick maybe as I'd like in some ways, but in other ways it's lovely to use. It won't take long to do it. A brush. Yeah, I find it really good for spray painting as well, but this kind of thing, considering the part it is, it's not a body panel, I think we'll get a nice finish with the brush. Especially then, we can take our time then putting the top coat on, the black on, and try and get a nice finish on it. But plenty of paint I think is the key here, and plenty of rust primer. Because the rust primer that was put on this from factory wasn't much shite. Same with the downpipe on the gold belly, that was new, only on there. Was it on, like, even on 3.5 and it looks very well worn. I don't really care about that because I'm kind of going for a more patina look on that, but still, you buy a new part, it could easily be going on a fairly, you know, fussy restoration. Yeah, that's not taking long to paint anyway. I find this stuff dries awful quick as well. So So I get out the wife's old hair dryer at this and get it dry, get another coat on it. But yeah, it's not going to take long at all. Well then, see how many coats we want to put on it. I don't mind putting plenty on it. Paint's getting a little bit old, you can see there's little bits of lumps in it here and there, but we'll let it dry and we'll see, hit them sandpaper for if we want to be fussy. It depends what humour I'll be in at the time. It is only an exhaust pipe at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't think spray painting would have been the best idea here. I'm going to paint right down obviously because I find the little bit of rust primer will help seal as well into that silencer. And that's no harm at all, just in case it wants to blow. Now, all around that weld. So it'll be a little bit streaky on the first coat. I'll be able to get all of that out, but then second coat, see then afterwards about putting even more on it. I don't mind putting plenty on it, of course, because considering it is going to be getting hot, not very hot, not as hot as the TVO obviously, old belly over there, that exhaust gets so hot so quick. Even if you wanted to, after you started the engine, you want to test for, see if it's blowing, you won't get very long before you have to take, I mean seconds before you have to take your hand off. Okay. Lovely paint to use, a little bit old, a little bit lumpy here and there. A1. It'll do the finish now for all I will be expecting. Just try to keep it rushed off it. Whatever paint I put over it, keep that on it. Yeah, a lot of the streaks are actually coming out. Yeah, so we'll hit that with the hair dryer there and get that to dry, and we'll come back then and give it another coat, see what it's like. If I'm happy with it after that, she's ready for top coat. Okay, so I'm just literally after just checking to see how this would spread. It's a Fleetwood black paint, so it should be fairly good black. It's very new paint as well, so there shouldn't be any lumps in it. I'm focusing more so underneath it here because that's where all the dirt and stuff is going to be. So make sure to get plenty of it on that. Underneath here. And there's a bit of a texture on it now because I put plenty of rust primer on it. And I think I personally prefer it rather than sanding it down to complete nut or bare smooth metal. I think the paint will get a better catch on the better grip of the bite on the metal, I'd say. And there's a bit of an old texture to it. I'd say definitely 2 coats of this black should do it. So we'll do 1 coat tonight and we'll let her dry overnight. This paint's going to take a lot longer to dry than that. And what we'll do is let her, give her the time she needs to dry, and put another coat on. Definitely take 2. There's always a few little places where you'll have missed, and that should be enough. It's not going to get that hot that it's going to go burning paint like the TVO over there. Same time, it's going to get hot, it's going to cool down. That alone, I think, is hard enough in paint. Yeah, brush paint with this there. Best option, I think. Over spray painting. Let's get a better rack. Get more on it, quicker. And you will get a little bit more of a texture then when you brush paint it, you know. And I just think it's gonna. It'll probably even look a little bit better as well. Nothing really there's not really many or any very smooth parts on it that aren't body parts, body work and stuff. So I'm going to tip away at this, and when I have something better to show you, I'll come back.